Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. I wanted to talk about some of my five-star reads of this year so far. I know we're not halfway into the year. However, I've already hit my 50 book goal of the year. And so I figured right now would probably be the best time to go ahead and talk about them and then make another video later on with any other five-star reads that I do have, which I'm sure I will find some other ones. I wanted to preface this with I solely base the ratings of my books on how I feel, how the book makes me feel, anything like that, because I read for enjoyment and that's just it, basically. So I know that not everybody would agree with me. And if you have trash taste, I mean, it is what it is. I honestly don't care. But these books have brought me joy this year so far. And to me, that's all that really matters. So yeah. Um, and they're not in any particular order. So it's not like I'm ranking them or anything like that. Now, I also don't own all of the books that I have rated five stars because I do also borrow from my library. So, yeah, I'm going to start with the physical books that I own, and then later on, I will just go ahead and add pictures of the other books as I go through them. And I'll only really mention like some little tidbits as to what I liked about the books because a lot of them are sequels. And so, if I were to go ahead and say everything about these books, like give an in depth description and everything like that, the video would just take way too long because I have 20 books here. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and start with House of Flame and Shadow. Now, I loved the Akatar characters that were in here. I know that it wasn't necessarily the longest cameo, I guess, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. Um, the main character, Bryce, did upset me a lot, and I was not happy with her for a lot of this book, but I still really enjoyed it. And some other characters also annoyed me, but it is what it is. I still enjoyed the hell out of that book. Next is A Soul of Ash and Blood. Okay, I know that this is basically from Blood and Ash, but in Castile's POV, and that's what I love about it. Okay, I still get some updates on Poppy and everything like that, and other things that are going on while Poppy's in her coma. However, I love like looking back on From Blood and Ash, but seeing it all in Castile's point of view. Um, but yeah, because I love dual POVs, and while that is not a dual POV, it does kind of like bring it back to the first book, and it kind of fills in that void of the whole lack of dual POV in the first book. Um, Next is Bride. This, I think, is Allie's best book. I need more like this. Um, just the whole marriage of convenience, everything like that. Like, I just loved it. Eat it up, honestly. I need more like it. The next is Practice Makes Perfect. This is a second book in the When in Rome series. However, they are standalone still technically. It's just that, there's characters from the first book that are also in this, and these characters were in the first book. However, I feel like this is the better book. It is a flower shop owner and a bodyguard who basically the bodyguard kind of like is her dating coach, and yeah, it just leads to something else, and I really enjoyed it. It was so cute. Next is Better Than the Movies. This I did not know I needed this, and yet I did. Okay, it is a YA rom-com book. The main character literally loves rom-coms, so I love that in the beginning of each chapter you get like a little quote from a rom-com, and yeah, it's just so cute. Loved it. Um, and then there's Hellbent, also a sequel to Ninth House. Um, I just loved how more in depth there was with like all the rituals, ghosts, demons, all that stuff that are in this. And then finally getting back a specific character from the first book that I was missing. I would hear about him, but he was not around, and I finally got to actually meet him and see him again, or well, for the first time basically, and it's just great. It's really great, and I can't wait for more to come, honestly. And then Things We Left Behind. I enjoyed the series, but this one was my favorite. Okay, I just loved the whole kind of like enemies to lovers of it all, basically. I loved Sloane and Lucian's backstory. I was wondering the whole time because Sloane and Lucian are in the first two books, and the whole time they're hating each other, and I was dying to know why they hated each other so damn much. And I'm so glad that this book, delivered and giving me the whole backstory and just resolving everything. It was amazing. um Now, Crooked Kingdom, again, honestly, I just love sequels because I just love to see the drama play out, but then also just be resolved, and especially when it's done in such a great way. And I feel like Crooked Kingdom did that in such a great way. I love these characters. I loved how it ended. There was some stuff that I wish didn't end the way it did, but I understand why it happened. I just freaking love this book. However, it is not my favorite in the Grishaverse. Um, but yeah. And then I have XOXO. I picked this up not really knowing much about it except for the main male character is in a K-pop group, and I do really enjoy K-pop, so I thought that was interesting. I've never really read anything like that, so I picked it up and I just loved it. It was a cute YA romance. But yeah. And then next, I want to say is Powerless and Powerful. Okay. I know not everybody likes Powerless, understandable. Okay. I really enjoyed the banter between the two main characters. I love the dual POV. I just love the strong FMC and the cocky MMC, and I just ate this up. It's probably my favorite book this year so far, and I'm so excited for the sequel. And then I really loved the novella. Now, I know like it wasn't really necessary for the whole series and stuff like that, but I do love getting Adina's point of view. And seeing that she did have something, other than or someone other than Peyton. And it was so heartbreaking, but I mean, well, maybe it wasn't necessary. I feel like I needed it and I loved it. Yeah. And so the next books, I'm gonna go ahead and try to put pictures up. Um, but yeah, because I do not own them. So next I want to say is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This was my first book of hers, and I just really loved it because I well, I don't read many thrillers and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of them can be very predictable. And this one was like the first thriller book that I just did not predict the ending at all. And it got me. And I was like so shocked and everything. But yeah. And then next is the first two books in the Twin Crowns series, so Twin Crowns and The Cursed Crowns. And I loved it. It's a really good YA fantasy series. I had so many emotions while reading these. I laughed, I cried, I was angry so much. And the whole concept of it, like from the first book and on, is just crazy. It really just grabbed me when you find out two twins are separated at birth, and one later on comes back to basically kidnap her sister and take over her life, basically. And I mean, if that doesn't get you, I don't know what will, because that really got me. Next is the Wolf series or the Wolf Hotel series. Now, I did not rate the first one a 4 out of 5, but I did rate books 2, 3, and 4. I have yet to read 5. Um, so 2, 3, and 4, I would rate 5 stars, and I really enjoyed them. I really do enjoy like the growth between the FMC and MMC and their relationship, and them just like exploring things and just figuring things out and really showing that distance doesn't really matter, at least when you have money. So, yeah. And then next is Rule of Wolves, which is the sequel to King of Scars. Now, this is my favorite duology in the Grishaverse because I really love Nikolai. He is probably my favorite character in the whole series, and I just loved seeing his not necessarily his struggle, but I love seeing him grow from that, but also Zoya and then them finding, happiness and everything. And I just loved it because that's what I really wanted for him after everything that happened in the Shadow and Bone series. I just wanted him to figure things out and find happiness for himself, especially when he's still trying to figure out how to rule this country when they don't really um, believe that he should be running it and stuff. So yeah. Next is Out on a Limb. I loved this book. Okay. I didn't know how much I would love this book, especially because it does have the pregnancy trope. But not just that, I love the meaning of the um. I just love all the messages and stuff like that that come along with this book because both the FMC and the MMC are disabled. The FMC has an underdeveloped hand, while the MMC has a prosthetic leg. And so she ends up pregnant after a one night stand. And the way they go about it and trying to figure out how they'll go ahead and raise their child together, and um, going past the fact that, like, maybe a lot of people would think that they would have a hard time, but that they couldn't do it because of their disabilities, and they're just going to go ahead and figure it out, and they know that they can work it out. And they do struggle with the fact of, like, how can I keep up, but they are in it together, and they will go ahead and figure out the best way for them. And I just loved that. um and it's also really funny. And then finally, I hope this doesn't find you. This is also another YA romance where there's rivals to lovers, and it's just so cute and funny. It's very reminiscent of To All the Boys I Loved Before. However, with like the sent letters, it's emails, and instead of like confessions of, like, your undying love, it's more so raging on what you did to the FMC to make her so mad at you that she had to then go ahead and draft a whole email just popping off on someone and not sending it, only for them to actually get sent. And I loved it. But yeah, so these are my 5-star reads so far of the year. And if you've read them, let me know what you think in the comments below. I mean, if you didn't like them, tell me why, or if you did, tell me why you liked them. Yeah, thanks.